Okay, good. Also, this is the first time I'm using this mic, so hopefully it turns out good. Hey guys, Life Through Lens here. This is gonna be a little bit of a different video. I mean, you guys seen this, but this kind of style that I'm doing is not really common on any platform. Like it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. The way I'm approaching it is kind of like the same approach of like a get ready with me kind of video. In a similar sense, shave with me. Now, I mean, I know it doesn't really look like much. If anything, it's just minor stubble. But if you know me, and as you guys have seen on the channel, as much as I can grow it out, and as much as I don't seem bothered by it, quite frankly, most of the time, I don't like having facial hair. Not even this little shadow of little scruff going on. I don't like it at all. So today I'm getting rid of it. And while I do so, I'm going to talk to you guys about kind of just anything, really, whatever's been going on in life, along with a little bit of discussion of what I've recently uploaded. If you guys have not seen it yet, I have dropped my first episode to my series that I have been teasing about for I don't even know how long, for quite a while now. And I've been talking about it fairly often in my vocal box segment. So, yeah, if you guys have not checked it out, please do so. It's my first ever episode. Spent a handful of time working on it. Finally pushed it out, finally did all the editing, so on and so forth. This is a series by far made by me, which means recording, which means, or I guess I should say filming, and I'm the idea behind the whole madness. So recording, writing, even did voiceover work, as you guys may have noticed. I mean, it's not that unnoticeable that it's been me doing voiceover work. So pretty much it's just been a one-man project. So I'm kind of excited, as strenuous as it can be, and as stressful as it was finally getting to the final idea as to how I want to go about this series. It's very exciting to see where it leads and to go through the whole process finally. Finally done with being at the drawing board. Now I'm actually proceeding forth with it and putting it in production and in film. So it's I guess in a way, kind of like a breakout project to kind of put my foot in the door of like filmmaking and such. Because if there's one thing that I may have discussed as well, but for a lot of people that know me, it's that I love narrative stuff. I love film. I love the idea of being a director. I love the idea of being an actor. I just love that whole world of things when it comes to art. So this is kind of like me taking that first step forward into that realm and seeing where it takes me. Be sure to watch that first episode. I'm excited to eventually push out the second one because I will say this in advance. As much as the first one was fairly okay, I had a lot more fun by far filming for the second one. And I feel like the second one is going to be a lot more interesting than what the first episode has brought. So stay tuned for that. I'll be sure to update you guys when that comes to be as an upload. But for now, it's just going to be these kinds of videos and it's going to be vlogs. And I'm going to try to put this mic more into use. I don't know how well it sounds. You might see me reposition it just as a test. So, yeah, this is kind of like an attempt for more clear audio versus whatever is going on. So, I guess for starters, kind of similar to people's get ready with me videos, they like to showcase the products and such. Here, there's not really much to showcase. It's simple stuff. I mean, similar to other dudes and such, it's not really much of anything. It's at most like 2 to 3 different products, and that's it. So, first up, Gillette razor. I can't remember exactly which kind this is. For any guys that know and able to easily spot and figure out which one this is, you'll know this is actually pretty nice razor. By far, had a good experience, has given me the best shave and best shaving experience. One of the features that I like about it is that it has mobility. Compared to any other razor that I have used for the past few years, this one's been my favorite because of that mobility. It helps me reach certain angles that any other razor has a difficulty doing so, which honestly, other brands should be getting on to that kind of innovation. Because, like, don't get me wrong, having just like a straightforward razor gets the job done, clear cut. It is what it is. But I feel like having that extra feature of like being able to angle it really adds more support when getting certain angles, like such as the jawline, kind of like reaching back here and then having to go underneath a little bit. I feel like having something like that is very, very helpful that a straight razor can't really accomplish. Like it can kind of get the job done, but it also creates further risk of like nicks and cuts compared to a razor like that. So I highly recommend that razor and that brand. All right, slight reposition. It may wobble a little bit. That's probably the only thing I don't like about this mic so far is the fact that it wobbles a little bit. This isn't a permanent thing. If I like it and if I see viewers like it, then it'll stick around. But if not, I'll probably be experimenting with different brands and types. And the idea of going from this kind of mic to a Rode shotgun mic that you see commonly used with a lot of other YouTubers. Usually it's attached to the top of the body of the camera. So I think one day I'm going to get me one of those, start experimenting with that, see how that works compared to this. Next up, I beats me on trying to pronounce the name of that. If you can pronounce it, I don't even know if it's in focus. Okay, there we go. It's also probably backwards, so good luck, or I guess editor me can like flip it. But this one in particular has been pretty well as a shave gel. I've bounced between gels and creams, and by far with shave gels as an experience, this has been the best yet. This has helped me get a nice smooth shave, and on top of it, aside from help preventing razor bumps and so on and so forth, nicks and such. Because if there's one thing that kind of creates a partnership between the razor and the gels, like getting the right kind of razor and then getting the right kind of gel or cream that can avoid all those nicks and cuts and like scrapes. Not to mention, I've also kind of bounced back and forth between different kinds to see what works best for my skin. Because if there's one important thing that I will have to note, is that it varies from person to person as to what works best for your skin. You can't just simply pick one up and say, yep, this is a good for all kind of thing. Experiment a little bit. Like I said, by far, this one has been the best and the most effective and less harmful out of any that I have experimented with. So I highly recommend this. This also gets that real deep and smooth cut. So like it really takes care of any stray hairs that may be lingering around after shaving. All right, next up, similar brand. I don't use this quite often. Let's see if I can get into focus. I don't use this one quite often because, quite personally, I've never really had any concerns of like the aftermath of shaving. Normally, I just roll with those two products, rinse off a little bit, and then kind of pat my face off. That's like a key tip that I will give is that when you're done shaving, kind of have a little bit of water, wipe off the excess, and then dab off every bit of excess. Don't wipe, because if you wipe, that's kind of like the same effect as a carpet burn or rug burn. And I guess the fourth product, which is also why I don't really use it too often, like it's helpful, but I feel like this also works just as well because it also works well with my skin. Usual household item, always good to have lotion. This in particular helps keep the skin smooth, keeps it nice, and kind of takes away some of that sensitivity that you may get, like that stinging and burning that you feel after shaving. I wouldn't say this is a alternative to a shave balm or post shave butter, but if anything, I most likely utilize both. I like to have the post shave balm, let it dry a little bit, let it settle, and then I like to moisturize with the lotion as well. I know that sounds kind of extra because technically the post shave balm is supposed to serve a little bit as moisture. Because if there's one thing you don't let your skin do is dry up, because then that can also be really bad. It's also what kind of causes all those burns and such, is that your face isn't getting the proper moisture after doing so. Water is not enough. I'll tell you that first and foremost. Water is not enough. Water is good, but it's not enough. It can only do oh so much for that skin after shaving. So I guess without further ado, let's get this whole process started. I guess in a way, this could be like a little noise test for the mic as well. So hopefully the water isn't overriding. Also, what you may have noticed in the first episode is that after I shaved, because yes, I legitimately shaved in the series, I still had a little bit of excess shave gel left over on my hair. And that's because, similar to how I am currently in real life and such, is that I don't like to have my sideburns be existent if the rest of me is shaved. If that makes sense, it should make sense. It's pretty clear cut. But to me, sometimes I'll leave the sideburns if I like them enough. But the way my mind works is that if I shave the rest of my face, it's probably good that I shave the sideburns too, just to have it all kind of taken care of. Because as a person with long hair, obviously it doesn't matter if I have the sideburns or not because the hair covers that section. So some people see sideburns as like creating that more full look when it comes to the hair. It almost kind of completes it. Others, it just kind of like makes the hair look a little more neat. And in my opinion, I'm with the other half. I think it makes my hair look a lot more neat if I just don't have the sideburns along with shaving the facial hair. And in addition, now it's jamming up to my neck and such. In addition, shaving off the sideburns, I feel like is very helpful if you're shaving your facial hair because of the fact that, like, for a lot of people, the sideburns kind of connect with the rest of the facial hair because eventually it goes from, you know, the sideburns and then it's like it has a little epicenter, aka your mouth, your chin, your top and bottom lip. It goes from that epicenter of growth to eventually branching out along the cheeks and jaw, and it tries to connect. So I feel like having the sideburns shaved and kind of starting off fresh there too is really, really resourceful. So in that way, if I do decide to let it grow out, it grows out in full and doesn't have like different levels of intensity and volume. Now, as you can see, as I'm shaving, and especially as like little tips for the sideburns as well. And this kind of works around for like the whole face. First I shave with the grain, then I shave against. And as far as the sideburns go, although obviously the sideburns goes downward, it also kind of curves along with the jawline. So I like to shave almost like horizontally to the growth. So I get every bit of it off. Now, personally, I like to take care of the neck first and just kind of follow along with it horizontally, almost a similar fashion to the sideburns. And then that's when I start going with the grain, against the grain and such. I mean, technically, I am going against it than with it. But, or I should have said then. Editor me, please don't mock me for that. I said don't mock me for it. But it's like, I don't know. Like, I find myself at times shaving against the grain, then with the grain, when it comes to taking care of like the neck and the jaw. And honestly, to a degree, that's like a bad habit. It's not really a majorly like negatively impactful thing, but like I don't know. I don't know how to explain it necessarily. I kind of treat shaving like a painting on a canvas because, like, I mean, I don't know. It's almost like the reverse of painting. It's like you're working to clean up the whole project. So it's like how you go about it is up to you, but there's very effective tactics as to how you go about it. Now, I guess as I said in the beginning of this video, I said that I was going to share some like life updates and such because I think I've already expressed like the whole experience of filming for Alan and that whole project thus far. So, for a little bit of a real life tidbit, and I don't know if the person's going to be watching this, but as I said in one of the Vocal Box episodes, I've had my eyes on a couple of people. And since then, it's eventually narrowed down to one person. Now, I'm not going to try to go into too much detail. I feel like it's already a dead giveaway as is with the conversations I've had with said person. But I have planned a dinner date. And originally, I was going to do it for next week, but something within my mind was like, nope, you should definitely do it this week. And I think it's just because of how apt I am to kind of go forward with this big plan of mine with this person. So I don't know when I'm going to post this video. I don't know if I'm going to post it today, like the very day that I filmed this, or if I'm going to post this the same day that I have the dinner, because I did move it back to technically tomorrow. Today is Saturday. Tomorrow is going to be Sunday. I was going to do it next Sunday, but because of how I've felt, and after having a little bit of thinking, I feel a little more apt to doing it this Sunday. I kind of know the outcome of this, but like I'm still excited and nervous to go forth with it anyways. I mean, for those who obviously, if you have a liking to someone, you know how exciting and nerve wracking these kind of plans can be. So I'm sure the person watching this will probably put two and two together. You don't really need to Sherlock Holmes it. It doesn't take much thinking to understand what may happen at this dinner. All I'm say is that it is, in fact, a special occasion. Honestly, I might even purposely post this like later today because right now it's like afternoon going into eveningish. I might post this like later on evening going into night, just like on purpose, so the person I'm referring to doesn't see it and suddenly has an aha moment. Because if they haven't necessarily pieced it together, then I want it to be kind of an elusive thing and still be, at least to some extent, a surprise. But as of today, I am declaring myself off the market romantically. Because now, after some thinking, I think I am very certain that this is someone I see myself spending years of my life with as long as possible. And I'm both excited and nervous to go on that whole journey. But knowing the chemistry, so on and so forth, and the feelings being mutual, I'm fairly certain that this will be a worthy thing to take up on. That this is the opportunity and the person to take a chance with. Because honestly, as it seemed throughout this year, there isn't really anyone else that I would be willing to take this chance with. I haven't take I haven't taken such a liking to anyone else to this degree in so long. So, and compared to any other person that I've spoken to, this is the one that stands out the most to me. So, wish me luck, guys. Also, yeah, I pretty much yapped and completed the shade. I did kind of make myself a little bit, but that's human error. That was me putting a little too much pressure on myself. So now goes on to the post shave moment. This is where I mean, a lot of people tend to take a rag and then like soak it in water and pat themselves down. Personally, for me, I just like to, get my hands a little wet there Sorry, I kind of smacked the mic a little bit. I feel like a little is an understatement, but I'll find out in post. I like to just kind of put water in my hands and like splash my face a little bit, wipe some of the excess off, and then proceed to take a dry rag or washcloth and just kind of damp the rest of the way. I don't know if I got enough time and I'm kind of having a self care day while also shaving. I like to soak the towel in like warm water. That way, it's really nice on the skin. It almost kind of replicates the whole feeling of like a warm or like hot steaming towel against the face. All right, so kind of like similar to how you would normally moisturize your face. You just kind of take it, rub it in a little bit, kind of rub along the areas that you've shaved. Give it like a couple of taps. If I can remember any channels that I've watched that kind of inspired me to do a video like this, I'll probably link them or tag them. But there is like a couple of channels that I like to watch where they kind of just shave and it's almost like ASMR ish. So, in a way, this whole video is kind of inspired by those kinds of videos. Yep, I did nick myself a tiny bit, so I'll probably get like a bandage for that after the fact. I am glowing. That's probably got to do with me slightly popping out of frame. So, if half the time I'm just glowing, I am sorry. I don't mean to look like Casper. So, yeah. Let's see, any last tidbits? I'll probably kind of just circle back around to what I've discussed in this video. This video will probably be a fairly short one, as this is more like a update. So I'll kind of recap everything that I've discussed. So, yeah, as you can see, clean shaven, smooth. Might see a couple of red areas here and there. It happens. I mean, even with the best of razors, you'll have little accidents here and there, nicking yourself. That's just how it is with shaving. But yeah, the whole film process for Alan thus far has been quite fun, quite interesting. It's had me kind of take a different approach as to how I work the camera and such, and it's like opened my mind to so many different like creative aspects when it comes to editing, when it comes to filming, when it comes to recording vocals. It has completely like opened my mind and allowed me to venture further out to different styles and tricks and tips, so on and so forth, techniques. So as short as the first episode is, trust me, that was also over the course of, I want to say, a good couple of years. I've filmed some shots since 2023, so you might see like all kinds of footage going on. Some of it is more recent, others was further back when I was kind of following a different course and approach with this whole series. Because originally I was going to make this episodic series into a short film, but I feel like if I ran it as a series, then it kind of allows that opportunity to kind of rethink, and if I need to, return back to the drawing board on certain ideas. So it kind of leaves a lot of room for a lot of different things as opposed to having like an A to Z. You know, it's like I get to fill in each letter versus having to just push straight through every single letter up to Z. It allows me to kind of like take my time and like go with each letter as I go. I feel like it's just a little easier creatively, especially as a person that still technically works. So as much as I treat this like a career to a degree, and probably will soon, I still have a job outside of this. So it's not necessarily 100% going to be the best thing for me. I can't just constantly film and constantly plan things. It's got to be according to what I've already got going on in life. So, and then as I've spoken about while I was shaving and what I was kind of rambling about, yeah, I'm finding happiness and I've found a person that makes me really, really happy. So I'm excited to take this next step and kind of go further on this venture through life. So it is excitement that is far beyond words of explanation. I'm sure the person, if they're watching this, can piece it all together, and I'm sure they're just as happy as I am, if not probably more. We're both jumping for excitement on the inside. I don't know about the outside. You don't see me jumping, but it's a very exciting thing, and I'm gonna have to really, really, as they say these days, lock in. God. But I'm gonna have to like really maintain focus and like try my best not to crack as I initiate this next step with this person. So I'll just have to see how tomorrow goes, and I'm sure I'll update you guys on how that goes. So yeah, this has been Life Through a Lens signing off. Hopefully, this kind of content is at least to some extent interesting. You know, you got to see me shave, kind of a new form of content for me. I won't say it'll happen often, but I'm sure occasionally it'll be kind of like my replacement as a sit down video. I feel like it's a little more interesting. So, yeah,